Hello, my name is Miranda Gabori, and today I'll be talking about the meat packaging industry and why it needs stricter regulations. Have you ever wondered how farming in today's society works, or perhaps if the hamburger meat that you buy is really all beef? What if the label on hamburger meat stated every ingredient that was actually in the meat? Would you still eat it? The purpose of this speech is to show people the need of stricter regulation on the meat packaging industry, particularly beef packaging companies. I would like to start by explaining commercialized farming and the demand for beef in the United States. Farming has become controlled by a small group of national corporations that regulate almost all food and every process of production for that food. If you were to go back to 1970, the top four firms controlled 20+% of the market, and today the top four firms control about 85% of the market. So we've gotten bigger slaughterhouses, bigger processing facilities, and really, really big meat packaging companies, says Eric Slosser in an interview done by PBS. I would now like to talk about the demand for beef in the United States and the mistreatment of cattle. The animals and the workers of this mass production are being abused. Statistics produced by the United States Department of Agriculture states that in 2010, in the United States, 26.4 billion pounds of beef was consumed. There's such a high demand for beef. Yet if all Americans knew how inhumane the process of raising and slaughtering cattle was, the demand would not be as high. Next, I would like to explain what is in the hamburger meat that can be fatal to humans. The all-American meal, as some people call it. Or in other words, a hamburger and french fries is one of the most popular foods in America. On side 2 of the PowerPoint, you will find statistics on how many hamburgers McDonald's sells each year, and on side 3 you will see how many they have sold so far since they have started. Cattle are raised in extremely disgusting living conditions in which they are standing ankle deep in manure all hours of every day. Please refer to slide 4 to see a picture of commercial cattle farming. There are many parasites and bacteria in cow manure which can get into the meat. When cattle are taken to the slaughterhouse, they are covered in manure. With the mass slaughtering of cows in one day, it is impossible for companies to keep their tools sanitary, resulting in feces being ground in meat and in packaged meat. This means that parasites such as tapeworms and bacteria such as E. coli can be ingested if the beef is not properly cooked, resulting in sickness or disease. Is this what Americans want when they order hamburger or buy hamburger meat? Lastly, I would like to inform you about the effects of feeding cattle corn versus grass. Cattle that are controlled by these national corporations are fed improperly as well. Cows are designed to feed off grass. However, these companies have decided to feed cows corn because it is cheap and it makes them fatter quicker. Karen Eisenbraun explains in an article why corn is bad for cattle. Switching cows from grass to grain puts more money in the beef industry's pocket and cheaper meat on the supermarket shelves. But at what price? The stomachs of cows are naturally pH neutral. A corn-based diet, however, creates an acidic environment that contributes to a host of health problems. Corn-fed cattle are prone to serious health conditions such as bloat, diarrhea, ulcers, liver disease, and a weakened immune system. To combat these problems, cattle are continually fed antibiotics, which leads to the antibiotic-resistant bacteria that increasingly render modern medicine ineffective. In the documentary Fooding, Marco Poland states that switching feedlot cattle to a grass diet would eliminate 80% of E. coli in cows' digestive tracts. What kind of organization knows that putting cattle back on a grass diet would eliminate 80% of E. coli in cattle and does not do anything about it? People are suffering because of the money-hungry national organization. Seattle Times states that a 2-year-old Tacoma boy died from an infection linked to contaminated hamburgers from a fast food restaurant. It is the first death among 100 people sickened by the food poisoning epidemic. The outbreak is linked to Jack in the Box restaurants. The Tacoma boy died at the Children's Hospital Medical Center in Seattle of heart failure stemming from kidney failure caused by the bacteria E. coli 0157H7. The fact that people are dying and there's nothing being done to change the production of meat is devastating. Refer to slide 5 to see an ad that was produced to raise the awareness of E. coli. As I close my speech, I hope that you see why meat packaging companies need to have stricter regulation. The national organization that control the majority of food production in the United States needs to have more restrictions on what they feed animals, how they treat animals, and what they allow to be packaged in the meat that consumers are eating. The meat that these organizations are producing is detrimental to the health of us that ingest it, especially beef. There's abundance of foreign ingredients in our food that most people are unaware of, and this tyranny needs to be publicized. Food production needs to go back to the way it used to be, with small local farms who treated the animals well and had grass diets for their cattle. Food is not meant to be harmful to the human body, but in today's society, so much of it is. Food Inc. is a great documentary that covers a lot of the stuff that I've talked about in my speech. If you are interested in more information, I have provided an ad for this movie that also lists 10 things that you can do to change our food system on slide 6 of my PowerPoint. Thank you.